Duolingo, one of the best apps for learning a language, once made learning actually feel fun. But something happened. Because the app that once made millions of people excited to learn is now making headlines for all the wrong reasons. The streaks, the gamification, the constant notifications, they're not just annoying anymore. They're part of a much bigger shift that most people haven't noticed yet. And here's the crazy part. Duolingo doesn't even call itself a language learning company anymore. It's an AI-first company now. Yep, the world's most beloved learning app quietly reinvented itself into something completely different. And honestly, the results might shock you. Even the stock market's starting to notice. The company's stock, which once soared after its big AI announcements, has quietly started slipping. Investors are asking questions, users are frustrated, and behind the friendly owl, there's a story that most people have completely missed. So what really happened? How did Duolingo go from revolutionizing language learning to becoming just another algorithm-driven tech company? Let's talk about it.
Back in 2011, two guys from Carnegie Mellon University, Louis von Ahn and Severin Hacker, had this wild idea. Louis had already made a name for himself as the guy who invented reCAPTCHA. So when he launched Duolingo, it wasn't just another app, it was a mission. Louis grew up in Guatemala, where learning English was expensive, and he knew that language could change lives.
What we wanted to do at Duolingo when we started it was to give access to education to everyone, regardless of whether they had money.
His vision was simple but powerful: make language education completely free for everyone, everywhere. And that was the magic. There were no ads, no paywalls, no hidden agenda, just this colorful little app that turned learning into a game. You'd open it, pick a language, and suddenly you're tapping words, matching phrases, earning XP, and it actually felt fun. For the first time, studying didn't feel like a chore. The streak wasn't a pressure back then, it was pride. And the crazy part? It worked. By 2014, Duolingo had millions of active users. It wasn't fancy, it wasn't powered by AI, but it was human. It made learning feel personal and joyful. That was Duolingo's golden spark. But as we all know, when something becomes that big, that fast, it doesn't stay simple for long.
So, fast forward a few years, Duolingo wasn't just a fun little app anymore. It had become a movement. By 2020, that number exploded past 500 million. It wasn't just about languages anymore. It was a cultural phenomenon. People were sharing their streaks like badges of honor. Everyone, from casual learners to total language nerds, felt like they were part of something revolutionary. It was that rare moment in tech where a company managed to make something that was both addictive and good for you. And the best part? It stayed free. Louis von Ahn was vocal about his mission. He wanted to keep education accessible. He said, the best education shouldn't be a privilege, it should be a right. And people believed him. Duolingo's brand was built on trust, that this wasn't just another Silicon Valley money machine. And while users were celebrating their streaks, the company was starting to celebrate something else entirely. That's where things start to change. You know what's funny about success? It has this way of changing what a company focuses on, without anyone even realizing it. Somewhere around 2017, the company introduced its first paid tier, Duolingo Plus, which later became Super Duolingo. At first, it seemed harmless. Just pay to remove ads. But underneath, it was the beginning of a quiet identity shift. Because when you introduce a premium tier, you have to make the free one just annoying enough to make people consider upgrading. More pop-up ads, the kind of subtle friction that slowly trains users to pay for convenience. The moment you put a paywall between users and content, the incentives shift. Suddenly, it's not just about helping people learn, it's about keeping them hooked long enough to make that upgrade look worth it. It's kind of ironic, right?
The app, built to make education free for everyone, was now gently nudging you toward a subscription. And none of this happened overnight. It was slow, almost invisible. Then, in 2021, Duolingo took its biggest leap yet. It went public at an initial public offering price of $102 per share, which gave the company an initial market valuation of approximately $3.7 billion. The Green Owl officially landed on Wall Street. And from that moment on, everything changed. When a company goes public, its mission isn't just about impact anymore. It's about growth. It's about quarterly reports, investor calls, and making sure that line on the graph keeps going up. And while Duolingo still talked about education for all, it now had to answer to shareholders, not just students. You can see the shift in the app itself. New features started rolling out faster. Streak freezes, XP boosts, leaderboards, family plans, and endless push notifications. But notice the pattern? Almost every update was designed to keep you in the app or make you upgrade, not to help you master the language. It's classic engagement design, the kind used by social media platforms, not schools. The app stopped being your friendly teacher and started behaving like a free-to-play mobile game. Miss a day? You get guilt-tripped. Keep your streak? You get rewarded. Lose your hearts? You either wait or pay. It's not evil. It's just business. Because the moment Duolingo's success started being measured in engagement metrics instead of learning outcomes, the Green Owl's smile got a little sharper. And behind the scenes, the company was already preparing for its next big evolution, one that would take things even further away from that original promise of free, meaningful education.
Now this is where things get really interesting, and honestly, a bit scary. Because when Duolingo went all in on growth, it didn't just change its business model, it changed its brain. Let me explain. Behind every streak reminder, every tiny burst of confetti, there's an algorithm deciding what you see, how long you stay, and what keeps you coming back. And that algorithm isn't designed to make you fluent in French. It's designed to make you open the app again tomorrow. That's the algorithm trap. See, in the early days, Duolingo's design was about progress, building vocabulary, understanding structure, and actually learning. But as engagement became the key metric, the system started optimizing for one thing: time spent on the app. And when you optimize for time instead of mastery, the psychology changes completely. The app began feeding users short, easy wins, little confidence boosts that feel like progress, even if you're not retaining much. You'd get the same few words, the same sentence patterns, just shuffled around enough to keep your brain in a loop. It's the same mechanism used by apps like TikTok and Candy Crush. Variable reward systems. You never know exactly what you'll get, but every time you complete something, the app celebrates you. That unpredictability, combined with positive feedback, triggers a dopamine response in your brain. Now, to Duolingo's credit, this works. The average user opens the app more frequently, stays longer, and keeps their streak alive for months. But the trade-off? Real learning, the messy, frustrating, forget and try again kind, gets replaced by gamified satisfaction. Users started describing Duolingo like this: "It makes me feel like I'm learning, but when I actually talk to a native speaker, I realize I remember nothing." That's not an accident, that's design. The streaks, the hearts, the leaderboards, they're all part of the loop. If you lose your hearts, you wait or buy more. Keep your streak, you get rewarded. When you take a break, you'll get a guilt trip notification saying your French lessons miss you. And it's smart, brilliant even. Duolingo turned language learning into a dopamine economy. You're not studying, you're scrolling. You're not mastering vocabulary, you're chasing that green flash of success. And the more users got stuck in that loop, the more Duolingo's data reinforced it. The algorithm saw what kept people coming back: short, easy interactions,
and started feeding them more of that. It's a self-feeding cycle. The system learns what gives users pleasure, users give the system more data, and the algorithm doubles down. But here's the tragic irony. The better the algorithm got at keeping us engaged, the worse it got at helping us actually learn. That's the real trap. A platform that mastered behavioral psychology so well, it accidentally gamified away its original purpose. And as this loop deepened, Duolingo began to face a new kind of pressure, not just from learners, but from investors and the tech world itself. Because right around this time, another buzzword started shaking up the company's identity once again: artificial intelligence. So after years of gamification, streaks, and dopamine-driven design, Duolingo decided it was time for a reinvention. And like every modern tech company trying to stay relevant, they went all in on one shiny new phrase: artificial intelligence. Yep, around 2023, Duolingo started using advanced language models, basically the same kind of tech that powers ChatGPT, to personalize lessons. The app could now predict your mistakes, adjust your difficulty level, and even simulate realistic conversations through a feature called Duolingo Max, powered by OpenAI's GPT-4. For example, it lets you practice ordering coffee and French, and if you mess up, the AI gently explains what you got wrong, just like a real tutor. Sounds great, right? Except there's a catch, and it's a big one. That personalized, human-like learning experience, it's locked behind a paywall. Yep, Duolingo Max, the one with all the AI features, isn't free. It's part of the most expensive premium plan the app has ever offered. So while the company was proudly talking about innovation and accessibility, what it was really doing was monetizing AI as a luxury experience. The irony here is almost poetic. The app that started with education for everyone was now saying, you can have the best learning if you can afford it. Fast forward to April 2025, Duolingo announced a major shift when CEO Luis von Ahn announced via an internal memo posted on LinkedIn that the company would become an AI-first organization, stating it would gradually stop using contractors to do work that AI can handle, started calling itself an AI-first company. That message landed badly because for a company that thrives on human-level nuance in language learning, any hint of relying heavily on AI raised fears. Will the teaching feel mechanical, less attuned to cultural subtleties, and less fun? The company's announcement said such changes were about productivity and freeing humans for creative work, but many users and observers felt the decision undervalued humans. Users posted comments like, "Canceling my account now," and shared posts about losing their long streaks in protest. Criticisms included concerns that AI-generated lessons lacked nuance, especially in less common languages, and that the brand's human-centered appeal was being undermined. This caused significant public backlash, but Duolingo has continued to pursue this strategy, attributing its recent expansion in courses to AI investments. And let's be honest, the AI label also helped with something else: investors. When Duolingo started calling itself AI first, its stock price jumped. Because on Wall Street, AI isn't about education, it's about excitement. It's about headlines and hype cycles, and for a while it worked. For the average person, it was still the same streak-chasing app, just with smarter pop-ups. So while Duolingo was being celebrated as an AI first on paper, many of its loyal users were starting to quietly drift away. They didn't leave because AI was bad, they left because it stopped feeling human. When Duolingo went public back in 2021, it was a Wall Street darling, a feel-good story about democratizing education with the numbers to back it up. Revenue was climbing fast, paid subscribers were exploding, and the green owl looked unstoppable. But by 2025, something shifted, and the markets began to notice. After Duolingo announced its big AI pivot, calling itself an AI-first company and unveiling GPT-4-powered features like Duolingo Max, the stock initially jumped. Investors love a good buzzword, and AI was the hottest one around. For a while, everything looked golden, but hype can only carry you so far. By late 2025, cracks started showing. The company reported strong quarterly results. Yes, revenue was up 34% year-on-year to around $272 million, and subscriber numbers hit record highs, but something important lagged: bookings. Bookings represent future business, the money that's already been committed for upcoming months. Analysts expected about $343 million. Duolingo forecasted $329 to $335 million. That shortfall, just a few percentage points, sent shockwaves across the market, and the reaction was brutal. Within hours, Duolingo's stock price dropped almost 20% in after-hours trading, despite technically beating expectations. That's how fragile high-growth tech valuations are. One small sign of slowing momentum, and the market reprices overnight. So, when you look at Duolingo's financial story, it mirrors its product story almost perfectly. Explosive growth, shiny AI rebranding, and then a sobering realization that hype can't sustain forever. Even the stock market, that great mirror of public sentiment, started echoing what many users already felt. The magic was fading.
Duolingo's story isn't just about a green owl or a fading app. It's about something bigger, the way technology reshapes our definition of progress. When Duolingo started, it wasn't chasing profits. It was chasing purpose, to make education free, fun, and universal. It was one of the few tech companies that actually meant it. And for a while, it worked. But somewhere along the way, the mission got caught in the same algorithmic gravity that pulls every tech company eventually. The pressure to grow, to monetize, to please shareholders. In trying to scale its dream, Duolingo became a mirror of the very system it once wanted to change. And that's the real irony. The app that taught millions of people their first foreign word slowly forgot its own native language, education. It learned to speak the language of data, engagement, and artificial intelligence, but forgot how to teach. It's not that Duolingo stopped innovating, it's that it started innovating for the wrong reasons. AI, streaks, leaderboards, all brilliant tools, but somewhere between the algorithms and the ad revenue, the heart of the mission got optimized out.